The amendment is considered read and will serve as base text for purposes of amendment. The gentlelady is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Henserling. When a natural disaster strikes, the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery, CDBG-DR program, helps rebuild our communities. These relief funds provide essential emergency aid and jumpstart the recovery process for those most in need. Earlier this year, the Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations began a bipartisan effort examining ways to improve the CDBG-DR program. Mr. Chairman, I'm proud to say that today's legislation is a product of that work. In testimony before the Oversight and Investigations Subcommittee last year, members heard testimony from the acting IG at HUD, who identified issues Congress should address, which include codifying CDBG-DR into statute, increasing oversight by addressing duplication of benefits and establishing procurement standards, and finally establishing a procedure to recapture unused funds. Simply put, the current CDBG-DR program is broken. While HUD has become a primary provider of disaster recovery, the program is not law. Instead, HUD uses more than 60 Federal Register notices to issue clarifying guidance, waivers, and alternative requirements to the CDBG-DR program, which oversees over 113 active disaster recovery grants. In testimony before our subcommittee last month, members heard from a variety of stakeholders who all had the same message. In particular, one witness noted, and I quote, "Disaster recovery could be greatly expedited if HUD had written regulations that governed supplemental CDBG-DR allocations. States would not have to guess at what regulations would be applicable from event to event, nor would they have to wait for the Federal Register to be published to begin program design and development of action plans," end quote. This bill, Mr. Chairman, provides that roadmap. H.R. 4557 also helps to eliminate the duplication of benefits that can often occur in the wake of the government response to a natural disaster. A 2016 CRS report highlighted that, despite quality checks and audits, agencies continue to provide duplicative disaster assistance to individuals and businesses. Benefits from multiple sources of federal aid, FEMA, SBA, HUD, can result in confusion, and as a result, benefits are being incorrectly allocated. The message here is clear. Congress is compelling these agencies to cooperate better and share as much information, data, as possible. Finally, Congress needs to set parameters for this funding. In testimony before the Oversight and Investigations Subcommittee, the acting IG at HUD noted $11.5 billion worth of CDBG-DR funds were appropriated for disasters going all the way back to 9/11, and they remain unspent. Taxpayer dollars, $11.5 billion. H.R. 4557 also sets up a mechanism to recapture these unused CDBG-DR funds, something that currently does not exist. We must do a better job recouping this lost money for future disasters. And most importantly, this will help us ensure disaster funds are getting to those who need them most and when they need it. Before I conclude, I want to take a moment and thank the ranking member of our subcommittee, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, who has been a great partner in this endeavor. I appreciate his willingness to work with me and to ensure disaster relief is being spent on victims of natural disasters. Mr. Chairman, I want to close by pointing out that since that first Supplemental Appropriations Act in 1992, Congress has appropriated $85 billion in CDBG-DR funds, with $35 billion being spent this Congress alone. And it has done so with little to no accountability. For over 25 years, we have treated this program like a Band-Aid. It's about time Congress makes this CDBG-DR permanent and accountable to the people that we serve. With that, I yield back the remainder of my time.
Gentlelady yields back.